Nothing makes you feel more like an outsider than stepping into a room full of middle schoolers. I was in the middle of nowhere, Germany, wondering what I had gotten myself into for the next year on my Fulbright grant. Within seconds of entering the classroom, the students asked me a question. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Do you speak German? I realized that in this moment, I had two options. Respond in German, which was one of my majors in college, or respond in English. In that moment, I responded in English. Why? I want to say it's because the kids reminded me of myself. This was a Gesamtschule. Many of the students of Turkish, Russian, and German background had never left the Rhineland-Pfalz state. Going to college was a faraway dream for them. They reminded me of my experience growing up in New Mexico. Each morning, we would recite the Pledge of Allegiance in English, Navajo, and Spanish. In my high school, many students would not graduate or attend college. And so I thought that by speaking in English, I would be able to expand their worlds. And I thought that speaking in only English would accelerate their learning. But if I'm being honest, I was probably a little scared. Scared of being ridiculed for my potentially bad German accent. Scared of giving up my power by not speaking in my perfect English. Maybe I was scared of being uncomfortable. And so I kept speaking English. Until one day, I was caught in the act, speaking in German with another teacher. A student saw me, and first, she was shocked. And then next, she was excited. Soon, the student started speaking to me in German everywhere. In the grocery store, Oscar and Lars, the cool kids in the back who never spoke in class, would run up to me excitedly to talk about soccer. On the train to school, Elif would share her Turkish-German traditions with me, while in the hallways, Evelyn would talk about her Russian-German background. I soon realized that what I thought was a weakness, my bad German, was actually a strength. Now, if you already speak multiple languages, congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. And I hope that you'll help me to encourage others to learn a new language. Because while 56% of Europeans can fluently speak 2 or more languages, only 20% of Americans can hold a conversation in another language. If you only speak one language, I encourage you to go learn a new one. And I'm not telling you to drop everything and go be fluent in a new language tomorrow. My advice to you is to start small. Maybe it's a few words a day. And you might be sitting there thinking, I speak English, and English is the language of the world. I'm here to make the case today that language learning is not just about words and communication. Learning a new language will make you a better individual, a better citizen of the world, and a better global business leader. Learning a new language will make you a better individual. My experience in Germany taught me that language learning lowers your armor, which gives others the opportunity to lower theirs. Speaking in their language, even though I didn't speak it perfectly, gave my students the permission to take risks, jumping into role plays and playing games. Because the truth is that language learning makes you vulnerable because you're doing something that you're not good at. It makes you more empathetic because you know what it's like to put yourself out there. And it makes you better able to connect with those around you because you know what it's like to not operate at your best. Language learning will also make you a better citizen of the world. Growing up, speaking in Vietnamese was my sole way to communicate with my grandparents and my great aunt, who lived with my family for 16 years. And while in English you might say, hey, in Vietnamese you say jiao, followed by the person's relative status to you. And this can range from em to gon, to back to an, to ji, to ong, to an, and beyond. And so you can see that in Vietnamese, respect for elders is incredibly important. When friends would come over and say, jiao ba, it warmed my great aunt's heart and also made me feel seen by my friend. Because the truth is that language learning helps you to build cultural empathy. It's the trying that opens you up to others. And these personal benefits translate directly to business, where language learning will make you a better global business leader. At Stanford GSB, 40% of our students are international. Every single day, our students are given no allowances in the classroom or in the workplace, where they often have to speak in their second or third language every single day, thinking about grammar and enunciation. But I often wonder what we're doing as English speakers to extend a hand and accept this bid for connection. Language learning is like knocking on a door. By making an effort, we're opening up the door for others to connect with us. As student body president, I've had the opportunity to build these bridges, and this past summer, I led a global study trip about AI to Germany, the place I once called home, for MBA students. In Germany, punctuality is incredibly important, and so if students were late, we would just leave them behind. And so you can already see that there's differences between German working culture and American working culture. So why is this important? Because business is becoming increasingly global, and we're bound to work on teams of people who are incredibly different from us. And so language learning boosts innovation. It helps rewire our brains for curiosity and creativity. Language learning helps us to better connect with our teams and our clients. And language learning helps us to access new markets and top talent. And so you can see that language learning has both personal and business benefits. I think of what we talked about today as 3 rings that build on each other. The first is the individual level. Language learning makes you more vulnerable, which makes you more empathetic, which makes you better able to connect with those around you. The next is that language learning makes you a better citizen of the world. It helps you to build cultural empathy. And finally, language learning helps you to become a better global business leader who is able to lead more inclusive teams. And so I hope you're sitting there now thinking, what's my next step? What language should I learn? My advice to you is to start small. Maybe it's downloading a language learning app. Maybe it's having coffee with a classmate that you haven't spoken with or a team member. And while every room might not be as intimidating as a room full of middle schoolers, we encounter these situations every single day, whether it's standing in front of a C-suite or a room full of investors. And when we make that effort, our chances of connection will increase. Thank you.